long time no speak. All my fault because, you know, it's my channel, so it couldn't be anyone else's fault. But yeah, hi, how are you doing? I thought it was high time we had a catch up over here on John.mp4 as to what's going on with my main channel, what's going on elsewhere, and I appreciate that it's been a long time without catch-ups. And that's because I've been doing a lot of catch-ups on Patreon, and as a result, it's not really dawned on me that I've not updated everyone else, which isn't really fair. So if you're a Patreon or a patron, which is probably the right word, watching this, you may have heard a lot of what I'm about to say, but if you're not, you maybe haven't. So this is my opportunity to catch you up. And as you've seen, the John Rochford channel hasn't had an upload in a long while. Oh, there's people walking down here. There's people walking down here. Right, I'm gonna have to stop talking and then talk again so I can make this a stream of consciousness without being completely embarrassed by this. Hey. So I think the main thing to say is since my last upload, I've moved again. We're still renting. Charlie and I are still renting, still trying to figure out what part of the country we want to live in. We're a lot further south than we were before. Although it's kind of hard to tell, this is just nondescript fields here, isn't it? But we've moved a lot further back to where I grew up, in that direction. So yeah, I've moved, which has sort of slowed me down making videos. I'm sorry if this is really windy, by the way. Sort of slowed me down making videos, but it isn't the only thing which has stopped me. A big reason why I haven't posted a video in a long time on the John Rochford channel is I was just trying to figure out what I wanted to make. I wasn't sure what kind of content it was that I wanted to make anymore. I'm very impulsive. In fact, me doing this talk right now was an impulse. I was sat down, I thought, oh, I should do an update. And before I'd even thought, I picked up the camera and left the house. It was literally within about a minute of having the thought. Very impulsive, which is a good thing and a bad thing. It means that I try lots of different things, but it also means I never really stick with anything completely consistently for a long period of time, which for a viewer is probably quite frustrating. But for me, it's just me trying to figure out what it is I want to do, what it is I like, and what it is that sticks. If you've been on my channel for a long time, you'll have seen that I started with silly comedy sketches and silly comedy, you know, what's the word for it? Tier lists, not tier lists. You know what I mean, top 5 lists and that sort of thing. And then it moved on to character-based comedy. And then lockdown hit and I started to make sort of more real world stuff and do challenges, which then turned into sort of vlogs, which then turned into sort of me trying to improve my life in some way. And then it went back into challenges and more fun things, and now I'm just here. And then I started John's Journey, where I documented my time traveling away in the van. And then I had a little period of time where I posted daily on this channel, just sort of streams of consciousness, whatever came to head. A little bit like this, completely off the cuff, talking to camera. And that was a little bit for my benefit. That was a little bit to practice the skill of just talking to camera, because I feel like if I don't do it enough, I'll get a bit rusty. In fact, I already feel a bit rusty doing this, already struggling to remember words, already tripping over, and also at the same time trying to dodge dog crap. And I also don't want to do it in front of people still. I've still got that sort of, what's the word I'm looking for again? See, that's exactly what I mean. I've still got like this embarrassment about filming in front of people. So just then when there was a woman walking past with a dog, I was just like, oh, I don't want to have to explain what this is. And I might see this woman again. I don't want her to think that I'm just like the weirdo with the camera, especially because I came out here because no one would be here, or at least that was my hope. So that's a lot of why I've not filmed on the John Rochford channel. I think it's safe to say that career-wise, YouTube isn't maybe where I hoped it would be when I thought back 5 years ago, where I wanted to be, or 3 years ago, or 2 years ago. A lot of that is due to my lack of clear plan. It's not due to a lack of focus, it's a lack of knowing what to focus on, which I suppose is another way of saying a lack of focus. I want to make videos which brighten people's day and maybe give them something a little bit extra that other videos don't, that will help improve their day. Whether that's just making them laugh, whether that's like a little bit of thought that I've had, which I think is worth sharing. Oh, it's going to be windy across this bit. Okay, sorry if you can't hear me that properly. I'm also having to swap arms a lot. But yeah, I want my videos to improve the viewer's day. I don't want it to waste their time. I don't want them to be a waste of time. And consequently, I often get into my own head about what is and what isn't a good idea. I was going to, for a very long time, do some documentaries, because that's what I did at uni. I studied documentaries, studied filmmakers that did comedy documentaries more specifically. And my whole dissertation was about, you know, the use of comedy in documentary and whether it was, whether or not it had deep satirical intent or was postmodern playfulness with artistic form, which incredibly wanky, that, isn't it? But I loved documentary films, and I was thinking, oh, maybe I should start doing some documentary films. And I reached out to a few people, and I had some things in place, I had some subjects in place, and then I don't know what came over me. I just like suddenly fell apart, which is embarrassing to admit. I think the main thing is I want to be able to make a career as a creator. And that's sort of what I've been doing over the last few months when I've not been filming. I've just been freelance editing and stuff, which in a way is making a career as a creator. I'm always looking to work with new YouTubers as well, and I want to be part of like a team of people working on something. So I think that's the thing that people don't talk much about when it comes to YouTube. I think people are starting to talk about it actually, maybe that's not fair, but it's a fairly lonely sort of experience and career. Like everything rides and dies on you. Whether or not you succeed, whether or not you fail, you know, it's all on you. And then that can get on top of you as well, because then your whole value starts to feel like it depends on whether or not a video succeeds or fails. And what I feel like I've been missing is that sort of team experience of working together and pulling towards something. And I think consequently, maybe making videos recently has become less fun. Which is interesting, because I was just listening to, when was I listening to it? I was listening to this morning or yesterday. I was listening to a podcast with Colin and Samir and Max Fosh. Foshy, the Foshinator. Fosh McFosherson. I don't know why I'm doing that. Anyway, I was listening to that podcast, and I think it was Samir said that there was a Tim Ferriss quote, which was something about how there's sort of two strands to work. That it has to be financially rewarding, but it's also got to be like personally rewarding. And I think recently I've made it so that YouTube has become neither. Like, I'm not making a great deal of money from it, barely any at all. Although, shout out to the patrons for helping me out there, but barely any money at all. And I think because I've been doing it all by myself and grinding it out, it's become less fun. And I think that's what's like led to the slowing down of videos. Because it was less fun, and I feel like the self-worth that I had was tied to the number next to my name and the number next to my videos, and it was just getting me to a point where I thought, why am I still working on this, and getting really down about it. So what I want to do is try and reintroduce the fun. Haven't quite figured out the way to do that, but my suspicion is working with other people on videos. Maybe that's meeting up with other people and getting them to take part in a video on my channel. Like when I used to do the welly wanging series, that was good fun. It was always good to meet someone. It was always nice. And then you get to talk to them before and afterwards. And it was always, you know, really insightful for me as well to be able to speak to people like Max or Jack or Robbie Knox or whoever, to ask them, you know, pick their brains. And I just stopped doing that. So maybe that's the way. The other thing is maybe to just like do more like fun things in video. So like the Dublin video was fun in hindsight, but it was incredibly stressful at the time. Like when I was staying in the youth hostel in Dublin, there was a moment where I thought to myself, why am I here? I hope this better get views. And then when I got home, it didn't really get that many views. So I thought, am I gonna do that again? Because it wasn't that fun and it wasn't financially rewarding. In fact, I lost a lot of money on that video. Going to Dublin isn't cheap, even though the whole premise of the video was buying the cheapest flight I could. Obviously, there's way more involved in that than just the cost of a flight. So, yeah, I got to figure that out. I'm open to suggestions. The other thing that I've noticed is that the analytics for the John Rochford channel are not great. I'm swapping arms again, sorry. They're not great. I've got lots of videos in there from years ago up to now, which I think are pretty decent. The challenge videos, you know, 30 days no phone, 30 days no meat, 30 days no caffeine, all of those ones. And even the more recent ones like the Dublin one. And I looked over the last 28 days, and I've been doing this for the last few months to see which ones were getting views. And the thing is none of them really were. And that felt odd to me. I've been playing around with titles, I've been playing around with thumbnails. Maybe I'm just one of those deluded creators who are like, these are better and it's the algorithm's fault and blah, blah, blah. But I was just looking at them thinking, they're not getting views. And I have a bit of a suspicion as to why that may be. Maybe, first of all, maybe they're just not good enough. The other thing I was thinking is, maybe it's because my channel is so inconsistent. The content on the channel is so inconsistent. The direction of the content, you know, like people when they come to my channel have no idea which way to turn. Is it really obvious that there's challenges on my channel? So I've taken all of the challenges off the channel. If you were to go onto the John Rochford channel now, you'd see that they're not there. And I sort of tried this recently as a bit of an experiment for a few days, and I put them on another channel, and they started getting quite good click-through rates and quite good engagement. You know, they didn't take off, but so I used that as a bit of a sort of demonstration of the fact that maybe these videos could still get views. And seeing as they weren't getting views on the channel, I'm not losing anything by taking them off. So I think one of the things I'm going to do soon is upload them all onto a new channel, which I know will have some of you rolling your eyes because I am the king of new channels. I mean, what's this? John.mp4 now, there's John's Journey, there was a John and Charlie channel at one point, there was the Purple Pig podcast at one point, there's the main channel. Like, I appreciate it's a bit ridiculous that I'm now saying I'm going to start a new channel. But I'm going to just put all the challenges on there, and I've also just filmed another challenge which I'm in the process of editing and putting together, and I'm going to just have a separate video channel just for any challenges I film and do, and just see how that goes. I think that's pretty much the plan. It's not really even a plan. It's more just updating you with where my head's at, what I've been thinking, what I think is coming up next, where I think I'm going to go. And also just to let you know, I haven't disappeared. I've moved, I've been freelance editing, and I've been trying to figure out like what's the best way to make videos, what's the most fun way to make videos, what's the most rewarding way to make videos, because I've got to figure out a way of making it fun and rewarding, because otherwise I'm not going to keep doing this in the long term. Because the reason I wanted to make it a career in the first place is because it was fun, and I was like, wouldn't it be great if I could have a career doing this fun thing? So I'm trying to figure that out. Open to suggestions. Otherwise, I'm doing pretty well. Charlie's really well. She's not appearing in the videos as much anymore because she just didn't want to as much, but she's still doing really well. We are happy with where we've moved to. And overall, like, this isn't meant to be me complaining. This is me meant to be just telling you where I'm at, how I'm feeling, thinking, how I'm feeling. So yeah, I'm sorry if it's been really windy. How are you guys doing? I'm going to turn around, try and cup the wind with my hand. How are you guys doing? Are you doing well? Is this fun, like a stream of consciousness like this? Is this a good, because I don't mind doing this. This is quite fun. I don't mind doing it. I'm going to walk this way so the wind, is that working? I don't know. Anyway, I think this is probably a good time to settle up and get going. But I just wanted to say, hey, let you know what we're doing. There's more regular updates on Patreon if it's not too cheeky to push that, but maybe it is. But yeah, I'll catch up with you guys soon. Thank you for watching. Ciao for now.